Hello and welcome back to What Time, the channel where the focus is always on the Nvidia Shield. Today we're going to look at setting the default launcher. The whole reason for making this video is because with the recent hotfix for the 2019 models, we have lost the ability to set the default launcher. The 2015 and the 2017 models will be affected shortly with the next official update. I'll explain why in a moment. The whole setting a third-party launcher as default has got broken with this hotfix. This is actually due to Google insisting that third-party launchers can no longer be set as default. So it's a Google thing, not an Nvidia thing. And like I said earlier, this will be coming in the future updates to the 2015 and the 2017 models, probably with 8.1.1. Not going to go into the politics of the decision here and now, but we are going to have a look at how you can get around this restriction. Please consider subscribing to the channel. That really would help us out enormously. Thank you. Let's get stuck in! What time? There are 4 of us in our household, each with different tastes in how the launcher should look, the home screen launcher. Some of us prefer the Sideload CHannel Launcher 2, and this is what we boot into, and others like to use the Android TV Home, the standard Shield home screen. I'm going to show you how to install a couple of APKs that will automatically boot into whichever launcher you want, and then show you how to map your remote control so that you can then easily flick through from one to the other. Let's dive in. So the first thing we're going to do is to go to the Google Play Store, and we are going to do a search in the Google Play Store for Launch on Boot. The first option there, Launch on Boot, is what we want, so we're going to click on that and install it. That'll install very quickly. It's a very small program, and then once it's installed, we're going to open it and set it up very quickly. Okay, we're going to right, go through all those screens and get started, and we're going to enable it, and we're going to come down to Select App. When we get into Select App, I'm going to set it to Sideload Channel 2, and that's done. I'm not even going to bother testing it. I know it works, so we'll come out of there and out of there. Go up and do a search for ButtonMapper. That comes up first option, ButtonMapper by Flar2. Click on that and install it. It'll just take a moment to install. We're not going to open it up just now. We're going to go back to the home screen. Now, before we can use ButtonMapper, we need to allow it permissions or accessibility. We need to enable accessibility in device preferences, and then scroll all the way down to the second to last option, accessibility, and look for the ButtonMapper, which is down the bottom in my case. We're going to click on that, and we're going to enable. We're not going to go, and then we're going to OK that. We're not going to go into that configuration option just yet. Let's click on out of there. So accessibility has been enabled. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to just add ButtonMapper to the favorites list at the top there, so we can use it from there. We're going to go into ButtonMapper. There are 1 or 2 quirks to this program since I first used it, so you have to be careful on how you configure this. We're not going to configure the home button option there. I've tried that and it doesn't work as it should do. What we're going to do is go down to Add Buttons, and we're going to click on Add Buttons. Now, we're going to add a button. Before I click on this, I'm going to explain what might happen here, and might happen for you, is when we add button, it'll ask you which button you want to press. You press the button, and then you have it added. I've done it with the home button a few times and it keeps dropping me out. I'll show you how to get around that problem. So we're going to add button, and at that point you get a message, press button to add, and we're going to click the home button once. Done. Home button pressed, and it dropped me out of the program. Okay, so let's go back in there and we'll find that it's still there, and now we're going to configure it. This is a Pro feature, and Pro features are reserved for supporters of this app. Upgrading to Pro unlocks all features and themes. Definitely worth paying for this app if you want to. However, you can use this particular feature without, so we say no thanks. We're going to customize the app. Now we're going to configure the single tap. So in single tap we want it to open in our case, the Sideload Channels Launcher. So we click on Actions and go to Applications, and we're going to scroll all the way down to the Sideload Channels Launcher. Now for double tap, I'm going to configure an action, and it's going to be there, and it's recent, so it'll give us recent apps. I'm going to click on there, and we're going to go for an action, and that's going to be home. That's all done. Let's come out of there and test it. So long press on the home screen will take us to the Android TV home screen. One quick press on there will give us the Sideload Channel Launcher 2. Done. Obviously this will work with a keyboard or your games controller as well. So if we go up to click on long press on there, we go back into the Android TV home launcher. One click takes us to the Sideload Channel Launcher. That's the home button on the 2015. The 2015 games controller will also work just as well on a keyboard. Let's bring a keyboard in there. We can click on the home button on the keyboard, and that takes us, so long press on the keyboard will take us to the Android TV home screen. One click takes us back to the default launcher, which is that. Double click will take us to the recent apps. Okay, we'll escape out of there, and finally, just to test, we'll test the restart button so that it boots up correctly, and we're going to restart the Shield. Okay, we'll just give it a moment. The Shield will restart. Let's turn that controller off. Boom. Restarted, and it's dropped into the Nvidia Shield. It's dropped into the Sideload Channel Launcher screen. As you notice there, it did pass through the Android TV home screen before getting there. Well, that's it. It takes a little longer to boot up, admittedly, but you can press the start button and come back a minute later and it's there, all set up, ready to go. Well, that's it for now. Let us know in the comments which launcher you're going to be setting as your default. Come and join us in the Noobs, Nerds and In-Betweeners group over on Facebook. There's a link in the description. And if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. We'll catch you when you catch us in the next one. Toodle pip.